curly again.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, I forgot there was silence just now.
Oh my god, so loud. Welcome to another episode of podcast.
Yay!
Yay!
See, now you understand why it's awkward.
Oh
right?
my gosh, yes. Oh, this is the part that I always fast forward.
So you can
fine.
fast forward your own.
No, okay,
podcast
faster.
also.
Yes.
Faster intro, Joanne.
Hey, wait, where do I look?
Oh, you can look anywhere.
So this is what Yvette always asks also. Where do I look?
You never give intro, right?
No need to
Never
look
got
anywhere.
orientation.
This is a podcast.
Okay.
So even you want to look at the sky, look at the ground.
No, Tammy says just now, she was saying that she watched the YouTube video because she wants to see our faces.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hi, Tammy.
You can look anywhere.
wow. So you can keep looking. I think this one will be focused on me. So I will crop you out.
Okay.
So you can look there. You can wave at Tammy.
You can wave
at
okay.
all these two.
But you'll cut all this out, right?
No, he doesn't. So this is in,
This
and
is
this is the
it
part
already.
you fast forward.
You're screwed. You're screwed already. Your IMDb got this marking already. Hey, welcome to another episode of podcast. Today we have Joanne here. Joanne, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, that's it. No more intro. Hi, that's it. You paiseh now, is
You're not
it?
supposed to intro me, right? Where got guests to intro themselves?
Okay, fine. I intro Joanne. Joanne's my friend.
That's it. Joanne, friend. You know the title is just friend.
Okay, then we're here to talk about.
I guess generally working. Yeah. Okay. So
And then today we like gathered kind of three different people from three different sectors in a way. Like I'm in the public sector.
I
Kenneth is in the private. And then Joanne is in non-profit ma?
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean it's considered different, right? When you say
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
different.
yeah.
But I'm like
Yeah.
private, but not really. And I only been at this company for a month, so it's a bit hard for me to.
Yeah, so you can share what's
Share.
that shift in mindset.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. But yeah. So I guess it'd be interesting to talk about working in all these different environment. I think especially in like non-profit, because I feel like for me personally, I guess most people will have some stereotypes about what is it like to be working in a non-profit. Yeah, and I guess we can talk more about all these things lah. I thought it'd be interesting to have conversations about it. So maybe you can share what's your you don't have to share where you're working, but you can share roughly what kind of organization it is and yeah.
Oh wait, actually maybe it'd be interesting if kind of you share what's your impression or expectation of a non-profit.
Yeah, because actually I don't know what's the stereotypes.
Hey, you need to be closer.
Oh, I want to say that. Wow,
Ah.
Yvette, help me, sia. Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you can share where
Okay,
where
okay.
you're working first. Yeah.
Okay, but I just say first, I might accidentally blurt out the name, so you help me to.
I will put
Okay.
a bird sound. Lor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
what's the bird sound?
I don't know lah. Why you ask this kind of stupid question? You can watch previous episode of podcast. You never watch, right? You think I
How
don't know?
it's so easy to digress.
Okay, Joanne.
Okay, so I work in an international NGO. Yeah, so essentially we are a Christian humanitarian organization. Yeah, and we are child focused lah. Yeah.
Child focus meaning?
Meaning at the core of it, whatever we do is really to benefit the children. Because we believe that they are the next generation that can break out the poverty cycle.
So what other focus are there for non-profit?
I guess you have those that like focus on like the elderly or like different sectors lah of the population.
Like maybe
Yeah.
helping people find jobs, that kind.
Or
is it?
women.
Yeah, correct.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, so you want me to share about what's my
Yeah. What's your like
preconceptions?
preconceptions? Then Joanne can debunk them.
So I mean I never really think about it that much lah. But generally, like if I'm looking for a job, I wouldn't personally choose to work in a non-profit because firstly I think it's always about money, right? How much money you can earn. I mean, basically if you want to be rich, you won't be working in a non-profit lah. Yeah, and if you're rich but while working for a non-profit, something is wrong. I feel somewhere down the line the money seems to be channeled
To the wrong.
to the wrong places. or like certain favors were being, some favors will be taken or stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's my general thought about non-profit. I also feel like people who works for non-profit tend to be a bit more like looking for purpose in the work they do. They don't really care or think too much about I won't say their own well-being, but like their own financial well-being, I guess. Yeah. And it can be difficult working for a non-profit because sometimes you struggle between I don't know how well the people in non-profit are paid, but I had that conception, like sometimes they may struggle between buying things that they want or living a kind of lifestyle they want versus working for something that they truly believe in. Yeah. And I guess sometimes also I suppose that people also come and go because sometimes after a while they feel like maybe this is not sustainable or like I guess maybe or they feel jaded from so-called the purpose because I mean at the end of the day usually people going into working for non-profit they have a preconception also of what is it like working for a non-profit. They feel like you're doing good and so on, but sometimes when you go in you realize certain processes seems weird or that like maybe it doesn't impact as much as you thought the organization would. Yeah. So this is my kind of my
That's
how I
a lot
think.
of
Joanne
preconception.
nodding a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm sure I mean it's probably not everybody will have the same experience working. I mean I would say that for any organization or any kind of sector lah. Yeah. So these are my thoughts. How about you?
Oh my god, I got no thoughts. Shit.
I don't know why.
Can I just say everything?
Why is he
Yeah,
like, okay, someone explain
because
to me.
because cannot say everything, so
Oh my god.
Whatever he said.
But do you have
Yeah, what he
anything
said.
else to add?
I don't know. I mean, I also wouldn't like consider a non-profit for my first choice. Like, let's say I was a fresh grad applying for a job, I wouldn't think of a non-profit. Also, maybe because like for yourself, like your non-profit is linked to your faith, right? So I'm also like atheist, so I also don't have like a certain faith and then tied to the mission. You know what I mean? So I also wouldn't gravitate towards that lah. Yeah. Yeah, and of course I want to make enough money or like Kenneth said. But is that like actually a misconception? It's not like you will be living on a poverty line, serving in a
No.
non-profit,
I mean,
right?
definitely not lah. Like, I mean, personally for me, okay, I am coping okay financially. Like, I can still, afford to like spend money, have a social life, buy what I want, save up for a house, travels, etc. So I'm not like dirt poor. I'm not like struggling dirt poor, okay? But I mean, different charities pay differently also lah. Yeah.
You
And
mean
to-
they're like well-paying charities?
Okay, I don't know if I'm not saying this is a fact or what, but based on our impression so far, it seems that actually local charities you are better paid there than in foreign charities in Singapore because local charities get a lot of government grants.
Oh.
Yeah, so fundraising for them is not that I wouldn't say not so challenging, but it's easier for them in a way lah.
So they're better
Yeah,
funded.
they are better funded. Yeah, whereas for foreign charities, we don't have like government grants. Yeah,
Foreign charities as in like
we are registered as a foreign charity.
but you're based in Singapore.
Correct.
Okay. So it's like I get a branch here or
Okay, for the charity that I work with, we are international charity, and we have offices in like over 100 countries. But the different officers have different functions. So there's like what we call support officers. So those do the fundraising. So our Singapore office is a support office. We do the fundraising here. Then we channel the funds to our officers overseas in the developing countries, and they are the ones who will do out the work. They do the field work.
So they are what, the
correct.
field officers?
Yeah, they are the field officers, and we have the national officers also that manage the field officers. Yeah,
so the work here is mainly focused about fundraising.
correct. Yeah.
Then the ones that are developing, maybe they're on the ground
Yeah, they are
doing the
ones,
work.
Yeah, correct.
I see.
Yeah, then they give us back the reporting and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then like going back to Kenneth's like his list of misconceptions. So he's talking about like burning out because your passion and stuff like that. Does that happen? Like do you see people, I mean you also talk about like colleagues leaving, right? But do they usually leave to join another charity or
So far, the colleagues that have left, yeah, they seem to still stay in the same kind of industry. Not so much that they leave because of burnout or what lah. But I would also say the thing about the pay. Yeah, I am doing okay, but it's not I don't think also it's going to be sustainable lah. If in future you have more commitments, like family commitments, all that. Also because my office is quite small, so in terms of progression, there's not much progression here. So in terms of salary also, there's not much progression that I can foresee that, you know, if let's say if I have my family commitments and all that, children, all that, it wouldn't be sustainable in the long run lah. Yeah, but I don't know about other bigger charities in Singapore that maybe they are better paid, then actually it can be sustainable for them there.
So when you say sustainable, meaning that how long do you see yourself working in this organization?
Or this line. Oh my
Or
god.
is it tricky?
Why
tricky to
why
share?
you smile?
I don't know. I mean, okay lah.
That's fine. My HR is leaving also already. So, I don't think my boss watches, but no lah. Okay,
I mean, if you're not comfortable sharing, you don't have to
okay,
share.
in this organization itself, I don't know, like maybe a couple more years there, because I am currently quite happy here. I think the only reason why I would leave is the lack of progression in terms of like position and also salary lah. But I am quite happy here. But I do think that I might still stay in this charity industry, a non-profit. Yeah, because I mean, after coming from a profit company background to a non-profit, it's very hard to go back to working for private companies already. Yeah, when you see the difference in like the purpose and the impact of work that you're doing lah.
Yeah.
You know?
So this actually a good segue. Maybe you can share more about your journey, like because you started from private, right?
Yeah, correct.
So like, how long were you there, and like, what are the considerations that made you make this leap lah?
Okay, so this was.
Wait, is she close enough?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it digress again?
Oops.
Okay, so this is my second full-time job. So previously before this, I was working in an events agency, for about almost 2 years. And then before that, I did do a few internships with other for-profit companies. Yeah, so I guess in my events agency life, it was fun, but I was really very overworked also lah. Like very little work-life balance, all that. Always like hustling, you know, the adrenaline and all that, which was nice, but it wasn't sustainable. And I guess maybe I reached a point where I was almost like quite burnt out. Yeah, so that's when I started to like question my purpose. Like, you know, like why am I working so hard for? Like, I mean, I don't mind like working hard, but at the end of the day, like I want it to translate to an impact lah.
You're like questioning like, what every day I'm doing this? Like, what's the point?
Yeah, and like also like the kind of events we were doing like was like corporate events, like
So
lavish
boring also.
events. Not say boring, but it like made me question like, why am I working so hard for, just to make rich people richer? Like, you know, that kind of so I guess like I was questioning like, I mean, if we work half of our lives, do I really want to spend so much time just doing this, like going through the motions and just doing this work, wishing I was like, maybe I should be doing something more meaningful. Yeah, so when I wanted to change jobs, then I started looking into applying to charities. Yeah.
This was how many years ago?
I've been with this current organization for like 4 years.
So you've been working 2-3 years before you decide to go into a...
No, almost 2 years.
You worked 2 years?
My events agency job was almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and I mean, I do believe that there's a lot of injustice and inequality in the world. And as cliche as it sounds, I do believe that the world can be a better place lah, if only people were more caring or more giving, and if there was just more equal distribution of resources. Yeah, you know, that would really make a lot of difference. Just you know, be more giving.
It's not the case where it's like the world doesn't have enough to feed the
there's
population.
more than enough.
Yeah.
You just need to distribute it more evenly. Yeah, so that's why I felt like this was something that I wouldn't mind spending more of my youth while I still have the time and energy, and while I still don't have as much commitments to pay for, that I can go into this sector.
Then do you consider like besides the purpose in terms of like the skills development?
Skills development wise, I guess it was also sort of a new change for me, because this role that I'm currently in, it's sort of like part of it is doing fundraising, like so I do relationship management. Like, you know how banks got their RMs? So
Or
sort of like
account managers.
Yeah, so I'm sort of like an account manager. So I have like a pool of donor accounts under me, which I have to nurture, service, engage, and basically grow their giving. Yeah, but that's a bit of a challenge for me from the start, especially because I'm quite an introvert actually. So like things like trying to engage donors, and try and like build relationships with like strangers essentially at first was quite daunting for me lah. Yeah, so I think that was a skill set that was challenging from the start, but I guess I had to learn to develop it through the job.
Yeah, I remember when you first joined, then you were then we were asking you, oh, how's your new job? Then you were telling us about like all these
All
difficulties.
the anxieties I was feeling, right?
Oh, suddenly 4 years already.
Yeah.
Then for yourself, I don't know whether you mind answering this, but like when you're moving from that private to this, in terms of your pay, was there a drop or were they able to match? Or
Okay, but cause the thing was that when I first applied for the job, I was at a certain pay, and then while I was going through the interview, I got a promotion at my events job. So when they offered me this current company, when they offered me, I told them like, oh, I got a pay raise and promotion actually. So I have a higher salary
expected,
now. Yeah, so can you pay me more? Then back then my then boss was telling me like, like no, maybe, but we can see like when you come in and how well you do, then maybe you'll go from there. We'll adjust later.
Did they?
Not really.
are you?
Until much later.
Yeah, but are you at the right now after 4 years? Are you at the same level as where you were?
No, I'm higher already.
Oh, higher lah.
Yeah,
Okay,
if I was at
okay.
the
I mean,
same
4 years
level,
already
like-
lah. So
Yeah, cause I wouldn't know like what's the like it's very hard to think about the disparity also. Yeah, like probably like for your same skill set that what you're doing right now, the kind of work you're doing now, if you go to the private, will it be a substantial
or like does it mean market rate?
or like your value of work? Yeah. When you in private, will it be like 20-30%? You could
I
have
would
easily
think so,
earned 20 or 30%
yeah.
more.
I do think my peers definitely are earning at least 20-30% more lah.
Interesting. Well, I guess sorry.
Oh, wait, what's your question?
I know you can say
okay,
first.
shit. What was my question? No, so like which point, like let's say when you reach a stage of your life where maybe because right now pay doesn't seem to be that big of it's not the key factor for you lah when it comes to your work. Then what if you reach a point in your life, with family commitments, then the salary that you draw becomes a bigger issue and becomes top of mind. Will you go back to like, and then any charity, because like charities might not be able to help you,
Pay
provide for your family lah.
I might, but maybe like I'll still want to do something that's like, maybe going to the CSR department of a private company,
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
still sort of like in touch with that area.
Like helping
I'm still
for-profit
helping.
companies channel their
Yes,
resources.
correct,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh wow, you've
That
thought
would
about
be
it.
that would be ideal lah. But to
Yeah.
be honest, very few companies have specific CSR departments. Usually, sometimes a CSR is like someone else has to do that side.
It's a
Usually
CCA or
HR.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Usually
like
HR
HR.
will be the one pushing for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my company do have specific CSR initiatives, but they are not something that they will spend the whole year planning out different CSR. It's usually like one off or a period with more things happening and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually what's interesting is, I guess, part of like my work and like kind of campaigns that we're running or like what we're observing in the rest of the world, in the business world, is that businesses are trying to tie their solutions and products to doing good for the world. And I don't know how much of it is just, greenwashing for sustainability.
Yeah.
So I don't know, they're just trying to like pitch their solution. Because with all the backlash against the tech companies, how they're harmful for people, blah, blah, blah. So now people are like realizing, hey, actually we gotta make it seem like our product is good for the world. So I don't know how much of it is that lah. But there is this movement of business trying to channel their like to show that what they're developing is doing good for the world. So I guess in terms of healthcare, that's pretty obvious lah what they can do, in terms of research, cancer research, just doing good for the world lah. But other companies, like I guess if you talk about electric cars, they're also trying to frame themselves as companies that are doing good because they are like creating sustainable transport law. So I mean the world is trying to move towards looking at how they can do more for the world, I suppose, like businesses, even though they are for profit lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite funny when like you look at like the oil and gas industry. Yeah. It's the way they try to position themselves. Yeah. And sometimes it's like a bit far-fetched, like talk about like doing good for the world and stuff like that. And then you're like, remember that oil spill that happened? The people are still cleaning up after today. You know, I think BP was one of the examples where they had this huge oil spill
And it cost
many
like
years ago.
millions or billions to clean up.
Apparently they're still cleaning up after 10 years or stuff like that. And they're still paying that like a few $1 million a year. Yeah, in fines.
And actually, it's all the vulnerable communities along the coast that suffer from the effects of all these oil spills also, right?
Yeah. But I think like the greenwashing thing, I think my company also, they're trying to avoid it lah. So I think a lot of companies, they are also aware that you cannot just say as lip service, like you have to show it. And if you don't have the numbers to show it, you shouldn't be talking too much about it. Yeah. And it's quite funny. You remember a few years ago, there was the Pepsi advertisement after the Black Lives... Is it? The Black Lives Movement, the Coke to a police officer.
Yeah.
And then like suddenly, racism is fixed. Basically, that's what the ad is saying lah. And people were very quick to call them out lah. The ad. I don't know whether they took it down.
I don't know. I remember it was the
A bit-
model got the backlash.
Yeah.
She's one of the Kardashians, what?
Yeah. But it's quite interesting like all the greenwashing or like companies trying very hard to show. But because at the end of the day, majority of companies are for profit, right? They're there exist to earn money.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of them now is trying to have that angle of like, while we are earning money, we are also doing good lah.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it has to be mutually exclusive. Yeah. So, but then sometimes it's also a bit weird that they beat their chest about it, but like they're earning good money about it. Yeah. So there's like a bit of like what's it called? It's a bit
Hypocrisy?
hypocrisy. Yeah, when it comes to things like this.
I mean, there are also nowadays a lot of those companies that are for female empowerment,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like they,
Remind me of the
What?
Gillette, the shaving that.
the men,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
No, there was this. They made an ad about guys being like calling out women or whatever. Then they're like, that's not cool.
Calling out women.
Not basically toxic masculinity behaviors. Or like basically feminism. I think like guys, you shouldn't be doing this to girls or like catcalling girls or whatever. Then other guys are like calling
I
them
remember
out.
we had this
Like, it's not
conversation.
cool. It's not cool. And then like there's this huge backlash from the community because they feel like they're force feeding that
Moral high ground.
that morality on like the males, which are actually your target audience, and then you're like telling guys like, hey, you should act better. Which I thought it was okay actually initially, but I can also understand why I think people are just very tired with all these messages being forced down their
I
throat.
think it was during the Me Too period.
Yeah, it's the Me Too period. Yeah, actually,
so
it's quite a number of years
essentially
ago.
the ad was just, it was selling shavers, right? And then it was it's just like a series of like quick cuts, I guess, about certain male behavior that, you know, puts women in danger, like catcalling women or whatever. And then they're trying to frame it like
We can
like
do
guys
better.
should be calling guys out also.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
we can do better
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So I think it was like quite divided because I remember seeing on Twitter. Then the women were all like, wow, Gillette, like great job. Like, you know, you're finally calling it out. And then their men were like, you know, like what he said, I just
Like,
want to buy shaver.
no, they're like, I'm your target audience and you are putting me down. Like what the hell is going on?
I can
Yeah.
see why guys
Yeah.
would be against it.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought there's some of this like hypocrisy.
Oh,
Yeah.
how do we get there? Oh, we're talking about doing good.
Yes,
Yeah.
company's doing good.
Yeah.
So how many years do you think, or actually it depends on like which stage of your life you are at before
Yeah.
you know, make any
Yeah.
moves?
How what's that word? How long do people usually stay in this kind of organization? Do you think? I'm sure there are people who stay very long,
What's
but
the
what's the
attrition
turnaround?
rate?
Turnaround. Is it turnaround?
Attrition?
The turnover.
Turnover. Sorry.
Turnover.
Turnaround. What's the turnaround to where? Turnover. What's the turnover rate usually? Do you see? Based on your experience.
In my current company, I don't know, because we all have a 3-year contract, actually. Yeah. Everyone has including my national director, has a 3-year contract. So I guess generally if people want to leave, they usually will leave at the 3-year mark. Or whenever it's a next renewal lah. So like maybe 6-year mark or what. Yeah. But I do have colleagues who have been here for like 10, 15 years. Like
So after
older
the
colleagues.
3 years contract, will there be another contract, or is it more like
It's just a renewal lor.
so you renew every 3 years? So 3 years, 3 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
So every time you have to leave
But actually like the contract thing also, it's not that like it's binding or anything. So you can leave before then or what. Nothing happens to you. It's just I guess also a mental thing. Yeah, like mentally, like you maybe want to stay to complete at least your contract.
Oh, and then it's
But
like you
when
want to
complete a
commit.
contract, got any bonus or not?
No. No, it's that contract is really just yeah. But mentally, actually, that whole 3-year contract thing did keep me going also. Because I think at the
So
start,
now you're locked in for another 3 years.
I guess.
Locked in, not really. But like you say, it's not really lah, right?
Yeah,
You
not
can
really
still leave
lah.
anytime
Yeah,
lah.
not really lah.
It's just that the terms of your employment will last for these 3 years lah.
Correct. Yeah, then usually it gets renewed lah, unless you're really like terrible. No, but if you're really terrible, you won't even pass like the probation period lah, of like 6 months. Yeah.
So have you had anybody who was terrible? Are you the one who said before there was some guy who was just terrible?
There was a guy who did not make it past probation, but he was really terrible lah.
So he was terrible in what sense? He was not giving enough.
What was that? What was that? He's not giving enough.
I don't know. Like what would be?
His
what would
heart
be,
is a little bit black.
He just
I don't know.
It's a little bit evil.
Yeah.
no, not so dramatic.
His heart was not in a good place.
In a charity somewhere. No lah, like he was just bad at his job lah. Like he couldn't really he was like in our IT department. So like he wasn't very good at like fixing problems or like things like also I think like sometimes when we go over to his desk to ask him questions, then we can see like he has a mobile phone propped up there. He's like playing game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, or then sometimes you can hear him making like personal call on the work phone.
Oh my
And
god.
he talks damn loudly, so the whole office can hear one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's damn low EQ also like.
So he's basically
guess,
doing his
yeah.
own stuff lah, not
Yeah,
really doing work
yeah.
and not really able to contribute
Yeah,
properly.
not a productive employee. Yes.
But his heart is not black lah. Okay.
His heart was in the right place after all.
I guess.
The brain black only.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about like I think it's about like meaningful work lah. You find whatever you are doing. I mean that's also the preconception I have is that I think people who usually who apply and work for a non-profit tend to find their work more meaningful. There's that sense of job satisfaction if you take away the money portion, or like when money is not as much of a factor. I feel like people in those jobs, they will find more meaning and probably feel happier in that sense. I'm just curious, like, then what about the rest of us, Like, what about you?
Actually, my question would be, to frame it, would be like, we should like ask each of us, what gives you the most satisfaction in your job? I think they'll make the like,
Meaningful.
yeah, the most satisfaction. Like, what makes you satisfied in your job? Kenneth, we can go first. Thank you.
What was that? What kind of lousy hosting is that? You can go first, thank you. What kind of shitty ass
How your
hosting?
experience doing broadcast?
It has been 2 months. I don't know. It's been a while.
In my previous place, okay, so if I just break it down, I'll probably go on a ramble from here. But I think money was quite okay. It was very comfortable. Yeah, it was good. Oh my god, the creaking of the door. Yeah, it was quite good. And I don't have to worry about how I spend my money. And I was still able to save. I'm not like like super rich, like some banker who's earning tens and thousands of dollars every month. But it's good enough to have a comfortable living and to have good savings. And so I don't have to worry that aspect of my life. Yeah, which is really nice lah, to be honest, because all your basic needs are more or less met. Yeah. Then in terms of the work that I do, I think the other factor is probably whether I'm having fun. But it's also very vague, like what's considered fun, right? So in some sense, I guess I do in some ways agree with the vision of or the mission of what the company organization wants to achieve or
This
wants
is your
to do.
former job,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So in because if it's totally not aligned, I don't think I would have stayed so long lah, right? So I think there's some alignment in that. Sometimes you can call it propaganda, but at least there's still some alignment lah. Yeah. Fun in terms of the day-to-day work, like cause I still make videos, right? I just try to figure out like the ways that we can showcase something that we do or like the people that we meet. I still find fun in those areas, like trying to think of ways to communicate that to the general public. Yeah. So I think like these factors kind of like put together, like I don't think I am excited about work, which is something that I thought I would be if I go full time into making videos. Yeah. But I feel like to a certain extent I see work as just work. Yeah. Because I think when I was younger, I do have that idea of like wanting work to be my passion or like something that really drives me. Because at the end of the day, you think about it, you're going to spend majority of the time in your life, remaining life working, right? So you also want work to be something that you can care about properly rather than just treating it as something that you are earning money from. Yeah. So, but over time, as you grow older, maybe I guess you can say become more mature or you become more jaded. with this idealistic perspective of what work should be. And I think nowadays it's about finding that sweet spot lah. Yeah. Because I think for me also, nowadays my priorities, although we don't have kids or whatsoever, but priority is still about like me being able to spend time on things that I want to do or enjoy doing. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily I do not necessarily need to seek that kind of satisfaction from work. Yeah. I could get it from other places lah. Yeah. So I don't know whether that answered the question. Yeah.
So your main satisfaction is the pay?
No, and
I think just not worrying. So for me, I guess my benchmark is like I don't have to worry about money. And I think that's like a very relative term lah. Everybody has an amount that they
That
feel
are
like
satisfied.
comfortable with. I think generally I feel like I need to be learning one way or another. I feel like I'm growing as a
Like you're still being challenged.
person,
I'm not
yeah.
be bored also ma.
So
Yeah.
that's the reason why I left my previous organization, because I don't think I'm growing and learning new things. Yeah. And I guess the third one is being interested in the work that they do lah. Yeah.
So it still has some alignment with the skills that you are keen to develop even in your private life, right? Like these are kind of aligned with your hobbies
Correct.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like my work, right now I don't need to edit videos at least for now, because we will engage people to do it. But I think it's more like using some of the skill sets lah. Like when you talk about content and writing stories, feature stories, or like making videos or like infographics, it's all about like that the thought process of like what do you want to say, what do you want to communicate, what's the best way to do it, and how do you do it in a way that is maybe
eye-catching,
yeah,
attractive,
impactful,
yeah.
maybe through emotions or through certain other ways to do it. Yeah. So I think, yeah, that's how I feel. Like even so now, like my company is into renewable energy. So there's also that whole sustainable, like doing good for the world and stuff like that. Yeah, but like you look at it as like that's the narrative they're trying to build lah. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's still about profit. Yeah, because at the end of the day, they are beholden to the investors, to the people who buy their shares, you know. Yeah. So, yeah lah.
So how does it feel to work for a profit organization compared to, the public sector?
I feel like public sector sometimes, I would say when we do certain things, when we push out certain content and stuff like that, they're not very focused. the KPI, it's not very KPI driven. Yeah. You kind of just put it out there and hope that you generally improve the image of your company. Yeah.
Organization.
Yeah, your organization. That's how I felt for quite a while lah. Yeah. Like you don't know whether you're moving the needle, so called. Yeah. And you just hope that things are like good and
But then it's also in some way like the nature of whether comms and marketing is key interest to that organization. No, I guess for profit, maybe it matters more because marketing will impact how potential customers view your products, and hence there is more value placed on that role in the company. So maybe then like it's more KPI.
But if you think about it, like government organization, if you are like a day-to-day consumer, right?
Like
you don't really
Singaporean.
want a product from the government. You just want things to work. Right? Like
So
if I want to renew my passport, I want it to be fast. I want to just get it done and I want to get out of it. Like if I go police, I want the police to be there for me. Call ambulance is there. Yeah. But when it comes to a company, is like the approach is like consumers like, come, sell me what you have. Make me interested.
Like,
yeah.
They don't need you.
Yeah. So I think the thought process on how general consumers or general Singaporeans see businesses and see government organization can be quite different. And that also affects whether what you do when you're in either or affects the general public that much. Yeah. Because I guess basically is that there's no demand
for the government.
Related. But for private, there's some demand lah. Like I have money to spend.
Right.
What can I
like,
spend
I
on?
want to, buy skincare and like sell it to me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You want to know more about everything before you make a decision. Yeah. But government organization is more like transactional, like let me get on with my life. Let me do this and move on. So I think there's that different approach lah. And when it comes to comms, there's also
different emphasis.
In some ways, I think so. Yeah. What about you?
I think we digress.
We never turn around.
What? Turn around?
Oh my god. What's going on?
What kind of satisfaction I derive from my job?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I also kind of buy into that propaganda. So I've also considered like working in the private sector and then public sector. What if one day I move from public to private, right? And then like I'm just helping people get rich, and then like but then whereas if I work for public, at least I can kind of like contributing to the nation,
to the community.
Yeah, correct. Like I'm doing something for Singapore, right? At the end of the day, whatever I do is for Singapore. So there is like a wider mission, I guess, or like meaning to it.
Yeah.
Whereas like for any for profit organization, then a company, then it's just like
You're doing it for the CEO.
Yeah. And then like I don't know. I guess like if you do well, the company does well, then you get better bonuses. But it also feels, I don't know, a bit meaningless in a way. I don't know. Because I haven't been there, so I also don't know lah. I'm just making assumptions. But those are like my considerations. So I guess one of the satisfaction would be that kind of base layer of like, you know what, at least I'm doing something for Singapore. Whatever. And then another part, I guess, the satisfaction that I do get in my current organization is that it's challenging me. So I'm still learning. So at the end of the day, I guess the key thing is that I'm still learning. So I mean, and that's wholly selfish. And that's like my own personal gain from the role. Because like doing it for the nation is actually just at the back of my mind. But the key fact is that I'm still learning. So the satisfaction I get, at least even though it's not really 100% what I enjoy to do, but at least I'm learning something new. I get to do new things, explore new things, and develop and then hopefully make myself more marketable and make my LinkedIn look better, whatever. So at least there's that satisfaction I draw from it. So that's my current satisfaction.
There are like some, I mean like the I think maybe we also I feel like maybe the way we frame private companies, that they're always just doing for profit, it's a very simplistic view of a company. Because a company can be doing, like, creating a product that will change the world for the better.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And still, and still
There's
can
that
earn a lot of
business for
money
good kind of-
because
Yeah,
people
yeah,
realize,
yeah.
hey, look,
That true
Yeah.
business.
yeah, like for
Yeah.
example, Microsoft, I would say that actually they are earning a lot. They are a very rich company, but like their software development is the reason why, you know, the world is so technologically advanced in the past, or like have advanced so much in the past, I don't know, few decades. Yeah, I mean, people can argue that maybe without Microsoft there will be another company lah, but at least they are taking that lead, and in some ways they are doing good because that also enables a lot more systems to be built. Yeah, like space exploration. Yeah, and when if you can optimize a lot of things using computer, actually you also can have a lot of impact to developing worlds. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. In some ways, yeah lah, but sometimes it's also you're also wondering, is it am I like drinking some Kool-Aid, you know? Like I'm just trying to make myself feel better
Yeah,
that
because we live in a
you're doing
capitalist. Because we live in a capitalist society, what I mean, that's
Yeah.
how like we make our living also, what. So I mean, I guess we just have to do what we need to do to make ourselves feel better about being alive. I don't know.
But it also reminded me of I don't know whether I shared this before. Like, so I was in high flux for a month, right? Then I quit. I think have I shared this? I'm in high
yes.
flux.
I think you have. I
Yeah.
remember hearing on
So
podcast.
Joanne
that-
has heard it.
I would
Yeah.
know.
Wow.
I'm
Number
top
one fan.
fan.
And we got call out to you before.
Yes,
Shout
I
out.
know, I know,
Call out.
Shout
Call
out.
I mean shout out, not call out. Joanne is actually you will not believe this. Top 5 things. Number 3 will blow your mind. Anyway, the point is
Oh my god, clickbait.
the point is that yeah, when I was in this position after like that one incident where I had to choose work over my own personal things that I want to do. Then I kind of like re-evaluate what do I really want out of work. Yeah. And at the time, I feel like I really like making videos and like going to this company. Sure, I'll learn things and grow, but are those things do those things matter to me? Like, do I want to grow as a project manager? Yeah, you know, like, do I want to give my 110% to this company that maybe at the end of the day I don't really care too much about what they do? Yeah, so that kind of made me reevaluate what I really want out of work.
Like your evaluation criteria.
Correct. Yeah, and because I guess in some ways I was also I wasn't aware, but I was kind of being peer pressured in some ways, seeing all my peers
Do better.
not say do better, but like getting a job in the engineering industry or whatsoever, or like being in a management trainee scheme. And I felt, in some ways, I felt like this is the path I needed to take. Yeah. Regardless of whether I like making videos or not. I at the point, I also didn't think too much about making videos full time. Like, I did enjoy doing it, but at the moment, I didn't felt like I was good enough to go down such things. So after that incident, right after that incident that made me choose work over like my friend's what do you call that? Farewell lah at the like sending him
I
off at the
remember.
airport.
I
Yeah.
was hearing about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second time.
I was so
Sorry, on podcast.
I remember the feeling. I still can remember the feeling today. Like at the moment I was very dejected because when I spoke to my mom and my sis, they're like, how you gonna, like, I would say I want to quit and I want to, you know, maybe join a production house and earn lesser, whatever. But I feel like that is the path I want to take. Yeah, I remember my mom and sis being very disappointed in me. Because firstly, in a moment, from their perspective, it's like, 你不会吃苦, like you don't know how to like take a bit of
like
a bit of
tough it out.
hardship and you want to leave already. You know, this is your first job, 3 weeks in, and you want to quit. Like that doesn't feel right. Because today is like, you know, you stay and see how 1 or 2 years and see how. They were very disappointed in my approach lah. Yeah, and I was like, no, the passion will drive me. That's my mind. My mind is thinking. That's what I thought. So, yeah, it's only through talking to that friend. He is actually
He owns a bar.
they renamed it. You know, last time there's this 1925 brewing
sounds
company.
familiar.
This guy called Ivan lah. I actually the funny story is I knew him when he and his then I guess fiance, they were performing at beer market. You know, beer market used
And
to
Clarke
be.
Quay?
Yeah. I don't think it's there anymore, right?
I don't
It's
know.
the one that they have a TV, then they'll show the price.
Yeah.
Then at certain timing, the price will drop.
I remember
Sounds
seeing it,
familiar.
but I don't, have we ever been?
It was quite
I don't
gimmicky,
think
lah.
I don't think we have been, but
Yeah.
I heard of
Yeah.
this
So I
concept.
think that's one of the places me and my friends used to enjoy going after like exams or whatever. So we met them there lah. So that's how we got to know them, because we were the only ones entertaining them. Like we will draw like what are the songs we want out, and it's like charade lah, kind of like charade.
It's such an
Yeah.
extrovert thing. Like
I don't
we'll
know.
just be like drinking up beer. Then the extroverts like, oh,
we're like
but then we'll be like just talking among ourselves, drinking up beer, like, oh, nice music.
yeah. So yeah. So yeah. I remember at that time before he opened that restaurant, he had a hard time with a startup that he was working on. Yeah. So I saw his Facebook post before about how he feel very, in some ways, like sort of defeated because of the heart and sweat that he poured into this venture with some of his friends. Like 2 or 3 years later, and it didn't work out, and you like you're at like low point, and he talked about how he tried to pick himself up after that lah. So when I text him, so I thought that he would be the best person to reach out to, because he is like chasing what he believes in, wants to do. Yeah. And he's not really down like a standard corporate route, you know. So when I reached out to him, I remember very clearly that the key takeaway I had from him was that, you know, passion is always what's that word?
Good to have.
Romanticized.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, love for passion, hustle, you know. And then someday you will be up there, you know, enjoying your fruits of labor, but like that's not always true lah. Like out of 10 people who chase their passion, a few will be extremely successful. The rest will be mediocre, sort of. Yeah. So he's the one who suggested that I should take up a job that is good paying, if you can, and what do you call that? Good paying, and can let you save up. Let you save up. And at the same time, use your free time to do what you love to do. Because he said that ultimately what really differentiates someone who just wants to do things for passion and someone who really wants to push further is how long you keep at it. Yeah. So the idea is more like you being more disciplined and still chasing what you want to do. Yeah, despite you having lesser time. And it's about you keep going at it and keep doing it, and over years you become more of an expert. Yeah, you get really good at what you are able to do, and then that's where you can start marketing your skills outwards lah. Yeah. So that's why I joined a government. So that right after that, I was kind of like realized, okay, then if really making videos and stuff or video related work is kind of the things I want to do, then let me take that approach lah. I should find a job that is stable and can go home early. Because my previous in High Flux, I was going home at 11, 12 lah. My upper study was going home at 2, 3 a.m. lah.
Crazy.
Which,
That's crazy, man.
yeah.
No
So
thanks,
basically
bro.
you have to give your 110% to your life. Yeah. So after that, I literally for government organizations. I was applying to a lot of government places. Yeah. And and at the time, I can't say that stereotype is true lah. Not all government organization you get to go home on time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was thankful that my place did lah. MINDEF did lah.
Yeah.
But I will also have to say that caveat to say that not all MINDEF departments have the same kind of lifestyle lah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So over time, as I was doing it, I guess I got too comfortable. Like you are comfortable, you're earning money, you can go home. So I started to take it easy. I made a bit of videos, but like kind of chill. But I think what pushed me a bit further was actually this guy from my ICT. Yeah, he is also an entrepreneur. For some reason, I keep meeting random entrepreneurs that inspire me, I guess. But at that time, he was trying to set up his company. And I talked to him about like me enjoying videos, making videos, and try to do it on my own. Yeah, but I also had doubts like, but you know, sometimes like do a bit and see how it goes. And he's the one who kind of like told me like, oh, maybe you should just do more. Maybe you should consider making a video every day or something or whatever. Yeah, like if you don't keep doing at it, time is just gonna pass, right? Yeah. So I realized like, oh shit, like he's right lah. Cause like I shouldn't just be, if I really want to further this whole video production journey, then I should be more disciplined in it lah. Yeah, rather than giving myself excuses to why I'm not making videos more frequently. Yeah, which I was giving myself that lah. So after that, I actually started making videos every week. Yeah, and initially I just gave myself the challenge of 10 weeks. Yeah, and I managed to hit the 10 week. And after that, I was like, you know what? I feel like I enjoyed this process because I felt like I was spending my free time a bit more meaningfully compared to just going home and play game and then next day rinse and repeat. And then weekend just chill, playing game. Playing game is just wasting time, right?
Hey.
Okay.
Good for mental health.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on your side, guys. I'm a gamer. I'm on your side. Yeah.
Stardew Valley.
Yeah, Stardew Valley.
Excessive playing. That's what I meant. Like playing to.
There was a period, right, that Joanne was really into a game.
Yes.
Then you get nyam.
Nyam? What's nyam?
Like, do you get like said for playing too much?
Oh yeah, I did.
Being nagged at.
Yeah, of course. Because once I get addicted to it, right, I will play like until late into the night. Then go to sleep. Then sleep already, wake up, play again. Then only take breaks to like eat, shower.
Nice. That sounds like a lot of gamers will relate to that. Shout out to all gamers.
Joanne is
Gamer
for
rider.
the club.
Yeah.
No, but I play like Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, that kind.
Yeah.
Hospital.
Yeah, people play some intense game, then she's like ding, 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 then cutting
Harvest my
tree,
crops.
yeah, cut the crop, fighting random slimes in the cave. But actually, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So actually, after that, all this doing it more frequently. I mean, like even today, like after doing all these things, I can't say that I'm like I have that same drive. But okay, before that, once I quit my job and look for a government job, I think there was a month of 3 months of like break because that 3 months I was looking for a job. Yeah, I quit without finding a new job first.
Brave.
Yeah, and I mean that time I had nothing to lose except for money in my bank. It was so
Wow.
pathetic though. Like just before the day I got my first pay from my new organization, right? The day before, my bank account literally have like 20 cents. Yeah.
This was after high flux after high flux.
I was living off money I earned from IPPT. I need to go and take IPPT. I need money. Then that year, I think that it was that year I managed to get a goal. That's like I got $400. Yeah, $400. Then I remember, right? How I found out I got 20 cents because I went to grocery shopping. Then I went to buy some stuff. Then I remember I had like $20 left or something like that. So after I tapped out the debit card, I was like, shit, I don't know whether I can pay or not. Because I was like, what if they reject me? Then it's so paiseh, right? That your bank do not have enough money. So I tapped already, I said, transaction can go through. I still have money, man. Then I went to the ATM, I insert, then I said, check your balance. Then 20 cents. Yeah, then after that next day the pay came in. Yeah. I was living okay lah. It's not like I was living in poverty, but like yeah, that was how much money I had left just before I started work again. Yeah. But I remember that feeling, that sense of like feeling excited about life for some reason. Like I feel like when I wake up I feel excited, I feel happy.
That got money.
I've made the decision to do something.
I don't know. I always talk about 20 cents and suddenly you got meaning in life and the money came in.
The $400.
Yeah, but I felt like really excited that I was like I don't have to like live by the society's expectations. Yeah, of course for a moment and when I was at High Flux once I got in, I knew that if I stay on and I did well, I will have a good career in High Flux at that time. Now it's like, but at that time I felt like I could rise lah, cause I know that I could perform. I have that confidence in myself. Yeah, but what's the point I'm trying to make?
I don't know. Maybe we should like ask Joanne now.
No, wait. So I felt very alive for some reason. Yeah, that I was able to. Oh yeah, the point was that I felt that I got my job I did well in my job. I don't have to worry about that. Money is okay. They don't pay that well, but like I know that my future is kind of secure. Like I remember thinking that all I need left in my life is a girlfriend.
Oh my god, I remember this.
Yeah.
Wait, he said this before.
Yeah.
Cannot be repeating your story.
Hey, maybe got new listeners who haven't listened to episode 1.
Was it episode 1?
Maybe I think about passion. Our first episode is
yeah.
like passion or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then right after that, I felt like more alive. Like even though I wasn't really doing much, like I was watching a lot of Running Man during that 3-month
Joanne's
break.
also a fan.
Yeah. And then I was like trying to write and I was trying to think of scripts lah. Yeah. Then I felt a lot more happier about how things are. But fast forward to
Sounds
today.
burnt out.
But yeah, fast forward to today, like I think my approach has changed. My views and my perspective have changed. Like I mean you can bluntly put it as I gave up on that dream
Of videos.
of like making video full time.
Mm.
I gave up if you want to look at it from that perspective. But at the same time, I guess I also realized that I don't really want to work in a video production company.
Yeah,
Especially in
you
Singapore,
want
after working with a few companies, you also realize the lifestyles that they have. Yeah, it's not all fun and games lah. Yeah, and it's a lot of late nights. Yeah.
And
working.
clients.
Wait, if you
Yeah.
had gone to a video production company, you would have wanted to be the cameraman or the producer?
Producer, director.
Director.
Oh.
To move up from there. But in Singapore, like I would want to make more fictional like story, like maybe the end goal at that time. Okay, so one of the things Ivan actually told me to do was to lay out short-term and long-term goals. Yeah. And review that every now and then. And remember one of the long-term goal was to, at the end of the day, possibly see my own name at the credits of a movie, for example. Yeah. So but then like you look at Singapore's movie space, yeah, it's kind of like that few people only, and the kind of work that we produce is not very inspiring. But you can also understand why lah. I think funding maybe not there lah. Yeah. So that's why it's also hard for Singapore production to do well. Like even now, you look at companies, there's no production house that do purely what do you call that? Like short films. There's like
I mean,
it's quite rare lah.
Vidzi is one. Although they're kind of like Vidzi is a
They're
platform, also.
yeah.
But they also do their own productions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vidzi would be one. I mean, they have like short films lah. It's like, and I don't think it's just Singapore. It's like the region.
Yeah.
Like filmmakers.
I remember they came in around the time when I just graduated. It was around the time they're quite new, like newish lah.
But now they're quite established lah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also actually don't really see much content from them.
No.
Like no sound, no nothing.
Not that it's not like
Nothing
things
good,
we consume.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it's like more for pride, like award winning.
Yeah, I see that's the problem is like some of this is like they don't earn the money.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not sustainable career in just producing content like that. Usually they have to be doing other things. You know, like
Corporate videos.
Corporate video.
Yeah,
Actually
yeah.
in Singapore,
True.
in Singapore, a lot of the production companies, from my understanding, the ones that are really giving them money is the government projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, government projects are important to their livelihood. Without government projects, I think a lot of production companies in Singapore won't survive. Yeah.
We're the biggest spender.
Yeah. So yeah lor, after going through the experience, I also realized like maybe that's not the kind of lifestyle I want lah. Yeah. And like it's not as glamorous as you kind of thought. What?
Wait, what's the lifestyle?
Production house lifestyle.
Production house. But actually, have you worked at a production house before? Even an internship?
No.
He's a chemical engineer. What? His internship would be like what?
Oh,
You know,
that's true.
those kind of shell kind of companies.
Yeah.
Why you like stereotype?
Isn't it true though?
You
It's
can
kinda
go to
true lah.
internship also. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I've done internships at video production houses. Yeah, and I mean it depends on which production house you go to. There are some that actually do quite very interesting and I do think quite meaningful work also. Like they do documentaries on issues like disabilities or like societal issues lah. Like not just they just don't do like corporate or government stuff kind of thing. Yeah.
but do they constantly be producing stuff like that? Because you also basically to do this you need grants, right? And to bring out social issues like this, the grants comes from maybe non-profit or maybe from those like the MSF, Ministry of what
Home
social
affairs or something. No.
social and families or something.
Oh, social and family
Is it?
something. Yeah.
Is that exactly what I say? Social and family and something. Yeah, social, family and something.
I know, but okay, so the production house that I was interning in, they did documentaries for CNA. So they did both local and overseas documentaries. So some of the documentaries they did was like, I remember they did a series on I think it was called like The Skin We Wear or something. It was covering like different profiles of people who suffer from this skin disease lah. Like basically like their skin is very dry and it will just peel off. Yeah. So they were documenting the struggles, things like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, then they also did documentaries on like true crimes, covering different professions involved in dissecting crime scenes, things like that. Yeah, so quite interesting. Work.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
But so my experience with production house, I mean I work with them.
Or from the client side.
From the client side, I don't really envy the kind of lifestyle they have lah. Yeah, and sometimes you also can get burnt out.
Yeah.
Easily.
It's crazy. It's
the
crazy
work,
work
the
hours
schedules
also.
are like crazy. You move around with large amount of equipment, the kind of amount of people management you have to do.
But
it's nothing like the kind of fun YouTube video that run and gun with 3% or 4%. Yeah, it's very different. And when you want to make the kind of level of production, that's the kind of number of equipment you have to work with. That's the kind of number of people you have to manage on the ground. And it's not something that I find fun in terms of production wise. Yeah. So I'm kind of grateful with YouTube as a platform because it allows small creators like me to do my own things. I mean, sure, I'm not gonna have a million subscribers and so on, but at least I have a very simple platform that I can even myself go back and visit and watch some of my own products I have made over the years. Yeah. So for me right now, I think my approach when it comes to job, like I don't need my work to be totally aligned with my passion. And right now, I also like the comfortable approach of me having a job that is somewhat related to the skill sets that I like to use. Like being able to look at videos, nitpick on them, how to sharpen videos, how to storyboard, how to write and script certain things that will be a bit more impactful or more interesting. Yeah. And like on the side, I'm able to do things like podcasts, try out different things. Like making a podcast is just like damn random. Like I just want to try, and I can just do because, there's no barriers of entries per se lah, except buying some equipment and stuff like that. Yeah, and I think as long as I'm able to have this platform to express myself and to try and to do creative things that I like to do, I think I'm happy lah. I'm contented lah. Yeah. So in that sense, I don't seek this kind of satisfaction from my work. Yeah. So I guess maybe in some ways that's what some people do. Like even they're in profit organization, they do a lot on the ground volunteering. Yeah, which I know some people are very big on volunteering. Yeah, they spend their weekends and so on, and that's where they find a lot of their satisfaction. Yeah, because sadly, the thing about a capitalist world is that without money, you cannot help people.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and I think some people's approach is just to have a lot of the money. It's like, I think very interesting. There was this I think it's a Instagram reel or some shit lah. They talk about like people are upset that Elon Musk is earning so much money.
And then he's using 44 billion to buy Twitter instead of feeding the homeless.
Yeah, like he has so much money and so on, and like people shouldn't be earning this amount of money, this absurd amount of money. But the person's argument is like if someone is the guy said that he genuinely believed that Elon Musk wants to make the world a better place.
He does.
Yeah, and like sometimes for people like this, even they are like this maniac or like this genius, maybe it's okay for him. Maybe we should give him that money so that he can put money into places where it matters. Yeah, and like do good for the world in his own way lah. Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Elon Musk, he did have a hoo-ha on Twitter with someone. Like, I think someone was calling him out about saying like if he donated X percentage of his wealth, right, then like
He can solve
he can
I
solve like some poverty problems or something. Then Elon Musk replied saying that if you can really prove that with this amount of
Yeah.
money, you know, all these problems will be solved, then I will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think then
So I think he was is it?
It was the UN one also, right?
It was no. So it was
supposed to
a
give money to
UN
Right.
report that came out. I can't remember.
or water, something
It's about
like
food
that.
lah. Basically, solving poverty or solving like food hunger or solving hunger. I think it's solving hunger. They say that as long as they have like $6 billion or something, they can. He will do it. Yeah, they can do it. So Elon Musk is like prove it, and now like people are calling him to do it, to donate.
Yeah.
But for him, it's like if you can show me proper steps that can
Yeah,
done.
correct.
So I think they tried to have a report to show how the money is spent. Yeah, but I after that I didn't really follow the news already.
I didn't.
So I didn't know whether the report wasn't convincing enough or something.
Yeah. But actually, that makes me think of an interesting question for Joanne. Because I mean, when you manage all these relationships and all these different accounts, I'm sure you encounter like rich people. But then actually, I mean, from what I've heard from you, is like all these rich people are actually donating a significant sum to the charity, right? Yeah. So I don't know, just like, if any, like, what can you share?
I mean, actually, there are, for our donors, right, you'll be surprised that actually a lot of our big donors might not be very rich themselves, actually, but they really give just a lot of what they have, right?
Wow.
Yeah, but there are also the really mega donors that they just silently give and they just really trust us to just use their donation in the projects that we feel are most needful, and they don't ask much questions or things
So
like
these
that.
are like the rich people.
Yeah, but there are also some that will say like, oh, like, why don't you help people in Singapore instead? That's usually some of the pushback we get when we try to convince them to donate to beneficiaries overseas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I guess like you can't please everyone at the end of the day. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, different people also have
Different guiding principles or
they find different problems to be urgent and important and needs to be fixed. Yeah, like the priorities are different for different people lah. Yeah, some people feel like why you try to solve problems overseas?
Yeah.
That locally we already
we also
have
have starving
problems.
children.
Yeah, why don't you look at them first? But yeah lah, I mean, yeah, you can't please everybody. You also can't do everything. Yeah, that's why you have different organizations focusing on different things lah. And then at the end of the day, it's about if you are donating, it's about which cause you feel is most important for you.
Yeah.
Like just now you're talking about like measuring up to your peers. Then I think this relates to what we were talking about at lunch. Because I was just thinking that actually a lot of, I mean, people who are like at our age, I mean, we're like 30 or at this, we've worked like at least 6 years. They're like already managing teams. But then, like we're not at that stage yet. I don't know whether it's just because of job changes that I've made, and then it just that I didn't grow in an organization, so you don't have that chance. And I guess Joanne, your role just doesn't lend naturally to that, or
Like even my fellow RM who is a manager, her designation is manager, but she doesn't manage us. Yeah, she doesn't have anyone that she's managing under her. It's more of like she's a manager because of her experience. Yeah, her past experience all that. Yeah.
But do you all usually have like, will you be able to lead a team one day? Do you want that?
Okay, will I be able to in this current company, in this role that I'm doing? I don't think so, because I think the only person that will be end up like managing people, like managing us, would be like a director level. Yeah, and to reach that stage, I don't think like how many years must I be in this company? Yeah, so I don't think I'll be able to. But do I want to also? Actually, not really. Like I'm quite happy just doing like work well myself, and like I think managing people is another whole set of problems that I don't really want to deal with. Right? Yeah.
I think it's very different skill sets lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes, I think as I work also, I also realize like last time I think when I first started, it's just like because you have no work experience, you're just learning, you're just doing, right? I think there's also value in like spending more time doing things rather than immediately jumping into managing people. Yeah, I think I also for longest time I also feel like I just want to care about my own work. Like Like, oh, manage people, tell them to do. But then it's like, if they don't do well, then that's what I have to do. Yeah. But I so, like, before I left my organization, I had an opportunity to actually kind of like delegate.
Oh, delicate is wrong. Bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I was able to pass some of this editing work to some of my NSS who are under me. And I felt like I can do more.
Oh, because you can delegate.
Yeah. Because I don't have to be bogged down by... I mean, sure, they may not be editing at the level that I'm truly how I would have done it. But but I was able to do more, be involved in more projects because a lot of the tedious work has been handed out.
So you let it go.
Yeah. So
Oh my
in some
God, this
ways...
is what we were talking about just now.
So some ways, yeah. Yeah, so in some ways you need to... Yeah, you cannot be expecting everybody to be at your standards. Yeah, but sometimes also like, yes, you have standards on this, but maybe your other standards are not as good, you know, you don't have as high standards as others.
Yeah, like some of our friends were saying that like they're managing people, then like some of the issues they face is like, oh, I mean, it's so much easier if I can do it because then I don't have to like, I mean, when you guide somebody, it takes time and effort, right? And then they don't perform up to your standard. I can do it in half the time that they can. It's faster if I do it myself, so they don't delegate. So they find it hard to let go. Then your bosses, they tell them, you need to let it go. Then we're like saying like male and female bosses, the difference. It seems like, you know, it seems easier for you to let it go.
Like, because you're really not detail oriented.
So, so I think...
In some ways.
Okay, maybe... I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe why I was able to let it go is because I don't feel...
oh, you don't care.
I don't... Not say don't care, but I don't tie my work to how I value myself as a person or as a worker.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, like,
because
it's a
I don't
video-
feel like in some ways, I don't treat it as I own the work that I do. It's my boss's work.
Okay.
I am helping him to get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if
And
he
I'll do my
doesn't-
best. And if let's say, at the end they're not happy with the work or whatever, it's not my problem. Yeah.
So you don't see it as a reflection of your personal worth or
Yes.
standards.
Yes.
So that's why he can like, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I think if I do reach a manager level, I'll be sort of maybe a bit of the micromanager
I'm
kind.
so scared I will be like.
Yeah, because I feel like whenever I do work, like I just want to, I want to do my best lah. And I feel like sometimes I find it hard to delegate work because I don't really trust.
So I think
Others
like being able to
to-
trust your subordinate to be an issue.
Yeah,
also.
correct.
Something to learn lah.
Yeah.
So that's a bit like I want to bring her Yvette's driving.
What?
It's like
What, my
if you are scared of driving, then you don't drive, then you don't get better.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So but if you want to be more confident in your driving, you have to drive more, which puts you in a very
It's just
uncomfortable
something that Shami
position.
was talking about, right? Like how about her boss say that she needs to learn to let it go
Yeah.
so that the subordinates can
Learn.
Yeah,
what to
and
do.
make mistakes and then
And
they
make
learn
mistakes.
from the mistakes
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it'll be better for her down the road.
Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. I feel like you have to let it go first, and you have to let people grow. I think as a manager, that's part of your job also. Yeah, which is to
Help your people grow.
help nurture people to do work better. Yeah, and in the big picture, that's how you can contribute more.
But it seems so stressful. Like not just stressful, it seems like more work.
It's more work. It's more work from the perspective of you need to be more emotionally engaged in some ways,
Because you have to care beyond yourself.
Yeah, you have to guide. You have to teach. You have to be patient.
Oh, which
Yeah.
I am so not patient.
You are so not patient.
Just recently, I had to be a buddy to somebody in like my division. Then I keep complaining to Kenneth. I was like, oh, why is he so slow? No, I'm very impatient.
She's really very patient. Okay, so I tried, but you know, like I can't swim. So if I tried to teach me how to swim before, she's like the worst teacher ever. I remember she got so
Why
like,
can't you do
yeah,
this?
she got so fed up at me. She was like, why cannot swim? Just swim lah. Like when we were in the pool lah, then I was trying to like float and like pedal.
What an amazing teacher. Just swim lah, just swim. Why can't you swim? You're not allowed to swim. Just swim lah. Go in the water and swim.
Yeah, just stay afloat lah.
Joanne, never again.
Yeah, never again. So I still cannot
Oh my
swim.
god, you scarred her from your swimming lesson.
cannot
Do you know how to swim now?
Oh, I still cannot swim.
Oh no! They destroyed one life at a time. Oh
Yeah,
my
so
God.
Yvette cannot teach.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm so impatient.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I also realized it again recently. I was like, oh my god, I need to be more patient. Then I hear from like my other colleagues, then they're like so sympathetic, and then they're like, oh my god, I need to be nicer. Like, you know, so like this moment of self-reflection, right, Kenneth? I was like, you know what? I can be more patient. This guy is having a hard time.
Yeah.
But I guess like in some ways you don't have to force yourself to be that kind of person that needs to be nurturing or whatsoever lah.
There's
I mean,
different kind of managers
yeah,
lah.
like yeah, and I mean, I don't know whether even if you stay in the corporate world, if you want to stay long and like do well, you may probably rise up to to be like a manager kind of role lah.
You
Which
kinda
I think
have to,
actually,
right?
in some ways,
Eventually.
Yeah.
that's why I think like for example in an engineering company, if you're an engineer, actually my understanding is usually you have a choice to be a technical expert or a manager.
Oh.
There'll be a point where as a uni grad lah, like I think at least for Exxon, my understanding is you can go down the more technical route, or you want to be a more like manager, then you get exposed to more different functions of how the company works. Whereas if you're technical, your focus more is on plant running, operations, being a specialist. You can become a lead technician,
Yeah.
lead engineer kind of thing. You still may need to do some management with people and stuff like that, but your role won't be so much about as a manager lah. Yeah. So I think that's why some of my friends I was like surprised to know that they prefer to go down the technical route because they don't want to deal with being a
People.
manager
They
and
don't
play.
wanna build
And to them, sometimes they feel like it's a bit like political.
yeah,
we have to play
you do all the
politics.
politics.
Yeah.
Like can get lonely at the top.
Oh yeah, nobody eat lunch with you.
Yeah.
Then how? Eat in your office leh.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure there are like other bosses to eat lunch with, right?
Yeah.
But it also
I don't know.
depends lah. Cause sometimes if you are staying in company for very long, you all rise up together. Then
Oh, you'll be friends.
Yeah,
sort of
still
lah,
have friends
yeah.
lah.
There are some managers
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Yeah,
So-
but anyway, the point is, none of us are. I mean, Joanne and I, you're not at that stage yet, like where you're managing a team, right?
No. I don't have anyone.
But Kenneth, you recently.
kind of gonna be, but the thing is, my working relationship with my other colleague, I don't feel like I'm her boss.
But you will be
Yeah.
clearing her work? Like, what's the
I don't know
dynamics
yet.
like?
So things are moving cause my team lead is leaving the team. So yeah, so we at this point I'm trying to figure out how I want to run the team or run the content team lah. And my VP has given me that like don't be held back with what you've
Legacy.
experienced so far, what was done so far. Like it's quite funny lah. I don't know whether I want to share. Okay, I can share a bit lah. Like my VP, cause when team lead leave, that she said she's gonna leave. So my VP is the one who told me the news. And when she told me, she basically said like actually when she hired me, she had the idea of wanting me to run the team at the end of the day.
Oh.
Yeah, already have that thought. But then she said she didn't expect it to happen so fast.
Oh.
Because my team is the one who wants to move out. Yeah, and she thought that she would stay a bit longer before the transition happens.
Right,
lah.
and then groom you or something.
Yeah. Or like get to know, let me settle into the organization first before, yeah.
Right. So how does it feel? Does it feel good to be able to decide on the team's
So
strategy?
yeah, so I also noticed over the years my style is I like to have some autonomy in how I want to approach things. In my previous organization, I also do enjoy the idea that I'm somewhat a subject matter expert when it comes to I guess content or making videos and stuff like that. So people look up to me and like ask me for advice, and it's kind of nice to be in that position lah. Yeah, and like whenever you suggest or say something, the bosses kind of like trust me, like, hey, we should take Kenneth's approach. Yeah, so I do enjoy the fact that I'm in a position where I'm able to influence more things lah. Yeah. So right now, I would say in some ways, I will have that opportunity to do so right now. Yeah, but right now it's a bit more of a, I'm in a place where I need to figure out what is our destiny. Like, cause I'm able to redefine how, cause the team that we have right now is very new actually. Yeah, my team lead was previously from somewhere else, and my current colleague usually was doing something else also. Yeah, but they are kind of like linked to content, cause comms actually everyone also creating content. Yeah, so right now it's more like I can redefine, like rather than focusing on producing things, I can look into a more strategic kind of approach. Yeah.
It sounds quite fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, but yeah, I need to get back to my VP next week.
But this is
tell
a
her
short
about
week
the
next
strategy.
week.
I don't
Good
know. Maybe we'll
luck.
figure out. I put it in a to-do list by Thursday. I should go and look for her, but yeah, that's
I think you
another
got
thing.
1 day to figure out, bro.
I already figured halfway, but like I'm in a process of like
Refining
right.
it.
I was like, this is bullshit. Then I cancel. Then I draw on paper. Does this work with this? Does this make sense? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the strategic kind of.
Oh, but sounds like
thinking.
you're having fun at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite excited
Yeah.
to see how things move. But to be fair also, it's a fresh pair of eyes. So you don't know all the resistance or barriers or legacy issues that the company has. So yeah, maybe after a while I get like beaten up.
then you get jaded.
Like
Then he
mow
get-
you.
yeah.
Oh,
You
no.
get carved into the mold.
Yeah, become one of us. A robot lah. What's that? You get it right? Not really. God damn it, I'm gonna end the podcast
Nobody
here
got
right now.
it.
Do you have anything else to share? Actually, yeah, I think we covered a lot. The lawyer thing, I don't really want, whatever lah.
Yeah.
I guess at the conclusion is that before the podcast started, we were like saying about how, Joanne and I kind of have similar attitudes to work in a sense. Like we don't really have much ambition. Not that we don't want to do work well, right? But we don't have
Yeah.
much ambition.
Like you don't feel
Ambition
like
to be a manager lah.
Oh, to be a manager.
Or to be like in a leadership.
leading, like
in
a
a
director
leadership.
kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
correct,
in a
correct.
leadership position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, we still want to do our work well.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So in the sense of like hustling in...
Oh, actually, I got an interesting question.
Oh.
For the job that you're doing, right, and your organization, what is considered earning too much? And how do y'all govern that?
Are you looking for a number?
Because, for example, it wouldn't look right if your director is earning $20,000-$30,000 a month. Somewhat lah. Maybe I'm just throwing a figure like you wouldn't tag a director at a non-profit to be earning the same amount as a director for a tech company, for example.
That's true.
So actually, it's a bit linked to like government also, right? Because technically, the politicians are non-profit. Government is non-profit in some ways, right?
But then
Okay,
the
lah, it's a-
Singapore government's reason for that is that we need to pay them well so they're not corrupt, right?
Yeah lah, yeah.
That's the reason, right?
Yeah, which is like that's also a debate about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just curious. How are you aware of how the HR is done there in terms of when it comes to paying?
I don't know how much the management and everyone else is being paid, but so they do studies lah, and they say they peg it to market rate lah.
In the
Yeah,
industry.
in the non-profit industry.
In the whole world or just Singapore?
Singapore. Yeah, but everyone that comes to my company takes a pay cut lah. Even the directors, they will take a pay cut or that. Even though I'm sure they still earn quite a bit as a director, but compared to being a director elsewhere, I'm sure they took a significant pay cut. Yeah.
Interesting. Will you consider? Like, if let's say you say it's not sustainable, have you considered that maybe if I rise as a director, I can be comfortable with the pay and I'm still doing something meaningful? Have you considered that train of thought?
No, because I look at what my director is doing.
You
also,
don't want to do.
like, it's not something I want to do.
It's too away from the ground, is it? Maybe.
Not that it's too away from the ground, but she has to people manage, and then okay, I'm thinking because right now the director role in my team is vacant lah, because my previous director left. So I'm thinking of what my previous director used to do. So she also does the same as us. She also manages accounts or that. Just that she's really good at it. That's why she's the director. So she actually does somewhat the same as what we do. Just that she has to manage us also. Yeah. So you see, there's not much progression also in terms of like job scope wise.
It doesn't expand.
Yeah, it doesn't expand.
It's just like more responsibilities.
Yeah, and then I mean higher pay lah, but growth wise.
Okay. But do you think, how much do you think is too much? Have you ever thought
Joanne's
about it?
personal opinion.
You're asking like for a figure or what?
I don't know. Like, I also don't know what I'm asking. Maybe a figure?
What do you think is too much? 20, 30K?
That's why I also don't know. Director.
But we have no idea what's the scope of responsibility. If it's like what Joanne's saying.
Yeah,
we're doing the
but
same.
you see, in some ways you're answerable to your,
Yeah, so
your-
we're
the
answerable to our
donors, right?
donors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like you have to, if they are earning too much, or like, are there guidelines to like, you shouldn't be owning a expensive car,
Like you can't own a Lambo.
or like visually you shouldn't
No
be.
lah, but I mean there are guidelines like we are governed by the Commissioner of Charities in Singapore, and actually there's a guiding law in Singapore that whatever you fundraise, only maximum of 30% can be used for your admins, overheads, salaries, all that. Yeah, so that's their law for all charities. Yeah.
Interesting.
So for my organization, we always try to keep it below 20%.
Oh.
So less than 20% is used for like
Wow,
admins,
you're
marcom,
overachieving
salaries,
it.
all that. Yeah.
So it makes sure that like majority of what you fundraise really goes to
The work and the
kids.
beneficiaries.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Singapore really got this kind of regulations to make sure that
It's very
what the
regulated in
charities.
Singapore,
yeah,
yeah.
wow. That's good in a way, right?
It has to,
yeah.
it has to, have to
Yeah.
protect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People's
Especially
money, mah.
foreign charities.
Yeah,
Very
without
heavily
regulation,
regulated.
things can
Go
be a bit-
haywire.
yeah,
And corrupt.
yeah. Interesting. But yeah, I don't know what's a figure to peg to, because like at where I am now, I don't know. Like you know that in the military, people are paid quite well. Yeah, very well. And sometimes I have to say, sometimes you feel like some of them, they don't deserve to be paid that well. But that's a story for another time. But yeah, if I think about it that way, actually shouldn't matter that much. Because it's like you want to keep good people, so right, you don't want to put
like-
them in a position where they.
Wait,
Because
talking about-
so one of the reasons why military is paid well is because you don't want them to be in a position where they worry about money. It's a bit like the politicians when you are. The theory is that, and I don't disagree, is that if you are paid sufficiently well to fund the kind of things that day to day, you don't have to worry about money, right? When the temptation comes, you don't get swayed by it. Yeah, so I think there definitely have been cases about foreign powers, trying to bribe their way. I mean, for sure there is lah in every country, in every military. For sure there are other foreign powers trying to find ways to get
Interfere,
information
yeah.
from your host country or whatsoever. And that's why actually also declaring your financial are very important in government.
We do it every
because-
year.
Yeah, you do it every year. It's quite taken quite seriously one lah. Yeah, you have to declare properly what the stocks you own, houses you own, and stuff like that. Yeah, and the theory is that if you are indebted in some way or another, it makes you a higher risk of someone being
Like
someone
preying
who will
on your
release.
vulnerability lah.
They prey.
Yeah.
So that's a train of thought lah. So I'm thinking maybe. I wonder if people somewhat accepted that understanding, and yeah, it's like it is what it is like. Oh yeah, it's a lot of taxpayers' money. You know, you have to answerable to taxpayers, but they were earning a lot. Yeah, and Singapore we kind of like accepted it somewhat. Another, I mean, the politicians are also earning a lot, so
Okay, politicians are paid by taxpayers' money also.
no shit.
Yes.
Then how?
No, like like MPs, they get like a stipend.
Yeah.
That's also taxpayers' money.
Yeah. Then where else do you think the money is coming from? Government's only source of income is from its
tax.
people.
Yeah, I know, but like, MPs. So MPs are part of the government.
Yeah, everything is. That's why people are upset. What? Why
why
the
they are paid
ministers
so
are paid so much? What? Then they always use it as the. When you're doing elections, politicking, then you hear a lot of those.
They always
kind.
dig up all the salaries.
Yeah.
They'll
and
be
all
like,
that. Comparisons
Then
with
But
other
that kind of money not
countries.
worth it, yeah, I feel.
It's a lot of money though.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
like
money,
you
but-
get all like the.
But
you
your
confirm will
life
have
is
somebody
also.
hate on you one.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of mental stress also as a
Yeah.
politician.
I mean, look at our like Heng Swee Kiat, right? The poor guy.
Oh, stroke. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess we digress. But I don't know. I think
what if we
I think
go
the
to-
point was just like maybe it's okay for non-profit people to earn a decent amount too.
Oh.
I don't know whether corruption is a
But
issue.
I think in the first
non-profit.
place for non-profits, when they recruit, you also want to recruit the right kind of people, right?
Yeah.
Who will not naturally have that mindset of wanting to
Yeah.
earn this
Yeah,
amount of
nobody
money.
goes to
Actually, to
working
be-
to
Yeah.
charities wanting to earn
be
money.
fair, yeah.
We are all prepared to take a pay cut. We don't do it for the money.
So government is different. Government, because you are in a position where you can allow people to get government projects.
Allow
Yeah.
bribery,
So
yeah.
that itself is also
like those
yeah.
contractors.
Correct. Contractor.
So you see all the news, sometimes the headlines.
yeah.
Yeah.
Helping friend or whatever.
And you
So
get
so okay, yeah. So there's that differentiation. I don't think people wants to earn money from a non-profit company.
I mean, if you do
it's
it
like,
in a wrong
I'm gonna
place.
steal money from non-profit. I mean, I'm sure there are some people trying
maybe
to
in
do
other
that,
countries.
but I guess like the demand to really get money from non-profit is not as high as compared to from government. But okay, I guess we more or less cover everything. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about this. So
Okay.
that's all. You have any last words? Or like last words? Do you have any what's that word? There's this
I don't know.
last words.
Last words. Anything else you would like to add that we
Or
didn't
do you
ask
have
you
any
about?
expectation? What do you feel being broadcast? Do I talk too much?
Wow.
Yeah, do I?
Her face is.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Talk
called
a lot.
broadcast. It's not called cake cast or
And
event
then after
cast.
later, Joanne will come to me and say, at some point I was zoning out.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, see the eyes bloodshot already. You think I don't
I
know?
wasn't because of my contacts.
But then I know actually at some point I was zoning out. And then Kenneth keep going on.
Right there. This is the part I can usually fast forward. But now I'm here, I cannot fast forward. Maybe I'll take a nap, then I'll travel in time.
I was really paying attention.
Huh?
I was really paying attention.
Okay.
lah, you know.
Maybe you.
So defensive. I never say you're not paying
No,
attention.
she's scared you offended.
No lah.
So every time she call you boss, hey, don't tell Kenneth. I'm like, oh, hey, Kenneth, Joanne say your
You
boss.
say starting part very boring. Let's fast forward. Yeah, offender. It's okay. Yeah, fast
tell you
forward.
then I'll
Might as
tell
well fast
you.
forward the whole podcast. Don't even listen to it.
The next episode, I will hear a shout out to Joanne.
But then
fast-forwarded.
but then I always remind Joanne that Kenneth really not easily offended one. Right, Kenneth? In some ways lah.
How do I get offended? When are the few times as I've been taken advantage of then I get offended.
But that's not
just
offended.
upset. That's not
Yeah,
offended.
correct. Offended is like people say, hey, Kenneth fat, then you offended. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like
no.
appearances is not like something that Kenneth will take offense from.
Yeah.
Like appearance.
If I'm offended, I would have been a very depressed kid. Yeah, it's so tiring to be depressed though. So yeah, I'd rather not be depressed. If I kind of have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like Kenneth's not easily offended.
I think I was offended. I don't know, this is
Is this part of
digressing.
the recording still?
Yeah. But I was offended. Okay, there was once. So in NS, I remember, cause my name tag is CB Ng, right? Guys, no surprise, CB Ng. Okay, Chong Boon, right? Ng. So, I think at the start people came laughing and making fun of it. We were just like, I mean, it's like I'm a walking target lah, right? How do I like if the more I fight back, the worse it gets, right? So initially I just accepted it. So I think as a bunch of guys, usually no filter, they got more and more offensive in the way they say it. I think to a point where I actually call them out and say that like I'm okay if your guys like laugh and like talk about it a bit, but like the more you're like the way and the frequency you are doing it is
Too much.
too much. Yeah.
Wow.
So actually after that they actually respected.
Wow.
Res-
But that's a
respected
very
me.
guy thing, like the kind of jokes that you all make.
Yeah.
Hey, jibai eng ah, jibai eng ah. Every day, yeah, I was like, hey, guys, you know, CB eng can lah. Don't jibai eng, every day jibai eng lah. Yeah. Yeah, you also coming out from jibai one there, you. Then it's like, okay, then they, okay. Sorry, Joanne. Yeah, non-profit. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Please forgive my sins.
But it's very, very different. Like
Yeah.
working in this current company compared to my previous companies.
Yeah.
Like the culture and everything. I was telling you all right what F stands for.
Faith.
Oh, yeah.
F only stands for faith.
F stands for faith.
So FU
Yes.
is faith you.
Have faith.
Have F. That's a great way to end the podcast. Thanks for listening. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.
Bye.